wished us a happy new year
Oh, that's nice.
and said, see you in 2020. Hazel, calm down. See you in 2025. This little one got we took her to the vet last week, on the weekend, and she's got a little lump on her chin.
Huh.
The vet, the vet said probably nothing, but they did a little, what do you call it? Like
Blood?
stuck a little needle in there and pulled a
Oh.
little sample out and sent it off to the lab and gave her some antibiotics. I haven't actually checked. Oh, she's
Yeah, I think they call it cultures, I guess, yeah.
sure, something like that. But yeah, hopefully it's all good. I mean, they gave her some. The vet said it's possibly just an infection, so she's like, it's a lump. It's no pain, so it's probably not a big deal. But they gave her some antibiotics, and it'll be fine.
But
Our first sort of time, her first time being at a Thai vet. So,
but you can't, like, cup her balls and, I mean, sorry, you can't scratch her, particularly in that spot, or...
she doesn't like it. She's sort of sensitive about it, but it's no pain. So,
She's like, oh,
yeah,
what
so
is
it should
that?
be okay. Yeah.
I wish we were so oblivious in that sense,
Yeah.
where it's like, because I have an issue with hypochondria, where it's like if I get a little dizzy throughout the day, I'm like, oh, it's probably these 20 years of drinking,
Yep.
like it's culminating right now.
Must be the heart. Yeah, must be the liver. Liver. Oh no, I got the liver. The what's that alcohol disease that you get when your liver? Jaundice.
Jaundice, yeah.
Jaundice. Is that the one?
Yeah. It's like I check my skin. Is it yellow? It's like it looks a little bit more yellow than 5 minutes ago, And like I know I have this stupid thing, but I sit there and be like, "Oh, I got a little dizzy." Huh? Yeah, it happens. Blood sugar, any kinds of things, But if I was a cat, it's just like, "Oh, I feel a little dizzy for a moment."
Sure, whatever.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we're too smart. Hey Boo, Boo, hey Boo, we're on the internet, dude.
Are we on some internets? Right on.
Yeah, we are.
Well, then welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben in Chiang Mai.
I am Tim in Taichung. Forget the countries, doesn't matter.
And we're Critters in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, just critters. Just critters.
We're critters.
Happy 2025, buddy.
Yeah, hey, Happy New Year. That's right.
It's 2025.
Yeah, Chinese New Year's coming up. Do you celebrate that?
As they say.
Yeah,
it's a big one here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese influence still down there in the southeast.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 50% of my students are Chinese. 50% Thai, 50% Chinese, and a few other mixed in.
I think you told me that, but I selectively forgot it.
It's a weird one. Yeah, it's very weird. It's good though. It's fine. I even got a couple of Taiwanese kids in my classes.
Oh, look at that. They must have plenty to talk about, depending.
No, not really.
Okay. You might, but they're just like, okay,
I do.
cool.
But you know what primary kids are like. They want nothing. They're like, no, man, don't talk to me about personal stuff. I want to talk. Don't spotlight on me. Like, don't give me that spotlight. I'm not interested.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, Taiwan, I lived there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, do you like marshmallows? It's like, okay.
Yeah. Here we go. That's basically it.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So it's winter here. It's cold. Dude, the Thailand, so it goes down to 10 degrees every night in Chiang Mai in our house. Like
wow. I mean, that's nice. I mean, I really like that kind of temperature, Oh.
It is I'm about a half-hour drive from work, and I leave at 6:30, and it is a very cool. What? Oh, is that a skitter?
That's a skitter. I don't want to damage my mic.
You need a Zeus paddle. Hey, I think you got it. I think it's there.
I think I got it.
Amazing. You need a Zeus paddle, man. Oh, that's gross.
What's going on here? Oh, it's just a bunch of fucking dust on it. A Zeus battle? Are you talking about the DM1 pie? Like the little
Zeus paddle. Yeah.
That every now and then you do to your nose and your tongue
Mm-hmm.
when you're drinking.
Mm-hmm. Those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The Zeus paddle, they cure all. We got a couple of them scattered around the house just for that. It's like, don't chase mosquitoes. Make the electricity do the work.
My parents, when they visited years ago, they were in awe that we had these things because Alaska has way more mosquitoes than they do here.
Yes,
but like here they're much more of a nuisance because I guess they're rare. But up north.
Well, also dengue and malaria and other things. So
right. So like
a bit more serious here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they brought some out to the cabin. They bought like 10 of them and brought them back. They went through customs. They're like, "What is this, sir?" And we're like, "Come on, man. We're going to Alaska."
Yeah.
No. Anyway, hey, which episode are we talking about? It's been a while, so we're both a little bit in the.
Yeah, we didn't record last week for reasons, and we're back now, but they're not. CR is offline right now, and no
because
idea.
Of reasons.
They're because of raisins, all those grapes. They
gone dry in the fires.
They're drying out their grapes in all those LA fires, man. Yeah, I saw the news today. It's like 80,000 homes or something, 150,000 acres.
Insane.
Whoa!
The entire Palisades is wiped out.
In the words of Bad Religion, LA is burning.
Prophetic. Old Greg Graffin, we know you're watching.
Yeah, he wrote that song about the LA fires. They've happened for time immemorial. So, man, you want to live in paradise, you got to pay the price.
Yeah, or buy a house now.
Yeah,
prices are down.
Right. It's gonna be. Oh, Hazel, don't do that. Fuck off. She just. There it is. Okay, I'm back. She hit the jack. You know how like the headphone jacks always get a little wonky. She gave it a little, and then it just
There she is on the mic now. She's like, well, if I can't do it from that end, let's fuck things up from this end.
Yeah, cats.
Do I gotta stop saying fuck? We're not monetized yet, but every podcast I listen to on YouTube, they're bleeping out everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, not the ones I listen to. I guess if you want a younger audience, then maybe you're listening to all those Mickey Mouse Club podcasts. Is that why?
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Is that even a thing? Is that even a thing still? Mickey Mouse Club?
Oh, sure. Old. I mean, if not, I'll find it.
Yeah. Hey, so listen, we're talking about episode 118, The Hallowed Cage.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
These things are, I mean, dude, in campaign 2, I guess I probably say this almost every episode. Yeah. Campaign 2, it's like, oh, what's the episode going to be called? It's always some kind of a poetic thing. But this campaign for the last, I don't know, like 20 to 50,
been a little bit,
it's like, this is exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's happening.
This is what we're doing, so this is what we're going to call it.
It's That's just boink, right on the nose.
So they're offline. They were offline this week. And they say they're coming back. Sorry, I'm playing around with things. Hazel, come on, man. They say they're coming back this week, but who knows? I doubt it.
No rush, you know.
Some of the keep the shit real. Like you're gonna be offline for a while because of fires. Kyle, the producer, him and his partner, their house burned to the ground. They've lost their whole house and everything. A bunch of other people have been affected. I don't think the studio was affected, but they said Marisha posted something on Instagram about saying how they can't get there now because everything's been evacuated out.
You don't want to. If there's any kind of time frame, it's like to get there on time. It's out of your control. You know.
Yeah, man. Like take care of yourself and your family and everybody else in the CR universe. Take care of them. Make sure they're all good and safe, and then come back when you can. It's all good. We'll still be waiting. I speak for all critters. I don't, because there's so many fucking critters on the socials that are like, well, they pre-record everything. Why is this a problem? They should just blah, 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 blah,
it's scripted anyway.
Yeah, right.
You know, I watch. Your Mom's House, the podcast with Tom Segura and Christina Przitsky. The house, they left Los Angeles to move to Austin, Texas. Their house where they were and their entire neighborhood is gone. Yeah. So it's like I saw on my news feed, because I do listen to JRE. When he had Mel Gibson, I guess, on, I think I saw that, but I did not listen to him. I'm not interested in what they've got to say. He had Mel Gibson on his podcast last week. Oh, last week. Okay.
While they were recording, Mel Gibson's Malibu house burned down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he getting calls or something?
I guess. I don't know. I didn't listen to it, but I saw it on the news and I was like, wow, that's pretty funny. So you're in Texas and you're recording with Joe Rogan and your house burns down. I'm sure it's not a small house too, but yeah.
And how many more does he have, but
yeah, who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, and like Billy Crystal, his house. I mean, like there's all kinds of people where it's just like all their Emmys, their grant. I'm sure they'll re-award them to people after all this shit. Maybe if it's important, but like
it's just stuff.
And also, it's like I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it. It's kind of political, but
yeah. It's weird how fires can suddenly become about politics. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people, Tim?
You people, Ben. You know what's not political? Critical Role, episode 118.
Oh, yeah,
Into
right.
the heart of the matter. What'd you call it?
The hallowed cage.
Yeah, that's what I said. Remember?
That's exactly what you said. If I could get my notes, there's a feline on my notes, and she really fucker.
All right, folks. We're gonna take 15 right about here just to get the feline. All right, so
It's all good.
Chill out. Oh, we're good. Okay, you got him. All right, there you go.
I got it. I got it.
I do
Okay,
have
so
some
yeah,
notes,
we're talking about the hallowed cage.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
It's been so
It's been a month. In 3 weeks.
Yeah, and last week for reasons, but a quick little like real quick recap. So like the first half was short,
real short, 1 hour 32 minutes out of a 5.5 hour episode, so real short. Yeah. So yeah, when that happened, you know that it's going to be a big combat afterwards, and there was an important combat, an interesting combat that I have things to say about.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and the second half was, as you said,
was the combat. So it starts with, remember, they put the force cage. There's 117. Robbie put the
Dorian.
player Robbie Dorian. Thank you. Dorian throws a force cage on Ludinus, and yeah, sure. And he throws the force cage on, and then they're like, okay, let's have a conversation, and that's where we'll come back. That's where we'll finish tonight's episode. Blah blah blah, and that's where 118 starts. With the conversation with Bell's Hells chatting with Ludinus, who is in a force cage, which, he just has to. This is sort of one of the problems. Like, force cage is great because nothing in, nothing out, except that if you're a wizard, you just teleport. All you have to do is beat the charisma, and with a high level wizard, like, you can beat the charisma DC that's set by Dorian, which is not high, and Ludinus is going to pass it every single time.
I mean, Dorian's got pretty good charisma.
Yeah, but it's not. They're not high enough level to have any. All he'd have to do is roll at like something like a, because his spellcasting modifier is like plus 13 or something. So all he's got to do is get a 5, and he beats
Ludinus, you mean?
Ludinus, yeah. His spellcasting modifier. I think I remember them. There was a lot of meta in this episode. Not meta. I mean, we can talk about that, but it's like a lot of. I wrote several notes down about what the metagaming now is at this table. And it's not metagaming, but it's not like it used to be where the players really don't know what's going on. So they're in the dark about everything. Now they're not, because they've got so much experience. They're just looking for numbers, and they know what they have to get now. There's a lot more intelligence at the table, a lot more crunch, as they call it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm scribbling down notes that only I can read at the moment.
Perfect.
What is Sam's character's name?
Braius. 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 Braius Doomseed.
Yeah, Doomseed.
Mm-hmm.
Doom jism.
Mm-hmm. Basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That's fun. Where do you want to start?
We could do if I have a second here.
Yeah, sure.
I'm writing down I have notes that they're in my fucking phone, but how do you want to do this? That's not a very useful initialism. HDYWDT.
Yeah, it's a long one. I would start with, like, the whole episode starts with the backstory. It's like an hour of backstory of Ludinus explaining why he's doing what he's doing, and like the sort of the reasons why. And then Bell's Hells starts explaining, well, why they're here. And I just want to say, like, right off the bat, none of that made sense. None of it, the way I understood it all, it's not like it was nonsense to me, but it clashed so badly about the reasons why Ludinus was doing what he's doing versus the reason why Bell's Hells was even here in the first place. There was a massive disconnect in all of this, and that's what I kept coming back to for this whole episode, is something was wrong. Something didn't feel right, and I think I know the answer, and we can get into it right now if you want to.
Is that the first thing you want to talk about?
It's kind of is the first thing. I mean, I'll do rollies for it, but it's kind of the first thing I want
Let's
to.
rolly for it.
Okay.
Let's make a fate
I'm
determine
gonna
this.
call a natural 20.
You're gonna call a nat 20. I'm gonna call
Not.
a nat 15.
I'm gonna call a 6.
And I called a 7. Fuck you, man, in your fate. Okay.
Lame.
Well, then I guess I'm gonna keep it kind of on point with lewdness.
Okay.
Okay. This is a wait. Geez, now I'm getting confused because they had him in the force cage, but in the second half is when they actually battled. Wow, so that's confusing for me. So the first half was conversations, but okay. All right, yeah. So I'm jumping to the second half a little bit. Do you
Okay.
think that Ludinus was biding time? That Laura, I would say, not necessarily Imogen, was like, no, he's talking and talking. He's just pulling shit out of his ass. Do you think he was biding time for some certain thing? Or do you think, I
In
mean,
the
like
cage?
for like time frame, or was he biding time so that he could re-roll to get out of the force cage? Because
No.
you can re-roll to get a no. You what the hell is going on here? Because he's talking a lot,
Yeah.
and I think that Laura picked up on that, and she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, he's pontificating. I'm out."
Yeah,
Because
I don't
he's
think.
about
I
to
think that was a
blast.
misread. I think that was a misread.
On
I
my
don't think he
part or her
cared.
part?
I don't. No, on Laura's part or
Okay.
Imogen's part, whatever you
Okay.
would call it, whatever.
My part as
The
well, perhaps.
I felt, and then maybe I'm wrong. It's possible. Maybe we'll find out in campaign wrap up
That's
stuff
why
or
we do
later
this
on.
show, you
But
know?
I got the feeling that he didn't really care. He was like, okay, he knows what the force cage is. He knows exactly what's going on. He
Yeah.
knows he can get out of it anytime.
He knows what
All
every
he has
single
to do,
spell is. He's
yeah,
been
he's
here
just
for
like,
millennia.
okay, you've stopped me from completely absorbing your mom. That's fine. I've still got what I need. I can
Mad
still
burn.
mm, I can still he's still got the exalted power for 24 hours. He
Right.
knows that. So he's able to do the thing he wants to do and there's no time frame. It's like, okay, well, you're going to stuck me here for an hour. All right, then we'll just have a chat. I can take care of you whenever I want. That's my take on it. I don't think it was a rush. I don't think there was a time, there was a timer ticking down. I don't think any of that. I think he was just like, okay, all right, fine. A
Opposite of
700
Rush.
year old elf is thinking differently, and I think Matt's really good at that, at putting himself into the shoes of characters of NPCs.
They're pretty calm
So yeah, he's
as
just
it
going to be
goes.
like, all right, this is what you're going to do. Okay, all right, here we go. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I was saying at the beginning with the disconnect between who Bell's Hells is and who Ludinus is and the reasons why they're even fucking there. Like
Right.
it are two very different things and they don't necessarily match. And I really feel we've talked about this. This is ad nauseum because I feel like we talk about this all the time. But Bell's Hells is the wrong party for this campaign.
Yeah.
They're the none of them. This campaign is so theologically driven, and none of them care about the gods really at all from the get go. So it's sort of it's there. That's there's a big disconnect there.
But that's why they might be good for the campaign because they're kind of like if you know, like this way or
Yeah.
this way. But like you'd look at Mighty Nine, which is fantastic interaction between them,
Right.
because Mighty Nine was like, "What are you talking about? Of
Right.
course we don't let this thing go." And Mighty Nine's like,
Right.
"All right, sorry." Bell's Hells was like, "Well, you know, they're both making
Yeah.
good points."
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is the right thing. It is the other right. But I think for in this conversation with Ludinus, he's looking at them going, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you, chuckleheads? Like, why aren't you on board with me doing what I'm doing? You don't care about the gods, but you want to stop me. And then there's a few speeches that they have in there that various members like Laudna and Orem, and they're like, yeah, but anyone but you. No, you're you know, even I think even Breas says the thing. He's like, yeah, no, like it was or Ashton, I think it was, who was like, yeah, no, we just don't want you to do this. We don't really care about it, but we have a problem with you. And it's sort of like, but why? Why
If
is
not
that a
him,
thing?
who? I mean, you
Yeah.
know, because like as he said in the conversation in the second half, is like, "Oh, I'm just making more people that will come and find me anyway."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? With the rudeness, ruidus flares,
Right.
right?
Right.
I was like, yeah, if this one doesn't work, then I'm going to find somebody else. But the thing
That's right.
is, lewdness, That's the confusion. Ludinous, ruidus.
Rudeness. Hmm.
Rudeness. The thing is, like finding Ludinous to get this to work out, that's a pretty good find because
Hmm.
he's been this archmage for
Forever.
almost like
Yeah.
more than 1,000 years. I mean,
Yeah,
they keep
700 or something. Yeah.
yeah, right, because they keep saying a millennium, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, come on,
Yeah.
it's like saying the 19th century when it's the
Yeah.
1800s.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're a millennium years old, but when you get to
It's
1001, you're 2 millennium.
hmm.
Like, eh.
Nah, no, that's not how it works.
Like who else is around that Predathos is gonna find that's gonna be this powerful?
Well, I think even if we found at the very end of this episode, like I don't think Predathos cares
Nah,
because I don't think this thing cares at all. Okay, if we're gonna, but that's neither here nor there. I think in response to your question,
sure.
like in yes, and that one, my big problem with what Ludinus was doing is I think Matt was having Ludinus fake the entire thing.
You
That's
think
my
Matt
that's
was
my
having okay, Ludinus fake the whole
having
thing?
Ludinus fake everything. That he was making the combat just just tough enough
For
that
16th levels.
yes. So there's a scaling thing there where so he goes second, right? Or something like that. He goes second or whatever. He drops Meteor Swarm as his 9th level spell and it's over. It's done.
Right. But
It's
instead
done.
he
He
chose
takes out 3 characters immediately. Or drops and drops the rest way, even if they save, drops them way the fuck down. Then he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But instead he does this Ravenous Void.
yeah, Ravenous Void.
Which, yeah, it was kind of fun and interesting, but it's more of a battlefield management spell. It's not really a thing
Wipe you
that should have been
out.
done right there. Whereas if he was really concerned about Bell's Hells doing this, I have a feeling,
Good
and
point.
then we get through the whole thing, and it ties in with the conversation that he has right at the very beginning. I have a feeling he wanted Bell's Hells, Imogen in particular, to get in there anyway. And he was
Mm.
like, I've already, so this is not me talking about my ass either, because what they find the staff and they realize that the staff was used to clone Ludinus and send his body elsewhere. The staff is useless. His body is in another place with the bag of holding that's got the quintessence array and who knows what else, because Ludinus was bare. He had no items on him other than that healing potion and the staff. That's all he had, because the healing potion, I think, was a bit of a red herring, because he was about to drink the healing potion right at the very end. But I think he did that as like oh, you got me. Oh no, I can't. Oh, I can't drink it. And then
And now
it's
you're
and then
not paying
instead,
attention to this over here because you think you got me.
right, right.
Okay.
It's a mad distraction
Hmm.
from the fact that he was like, okay, yeah, all right, you're gonna stop me, fine. Then you go in and do it. And it doesn't matter if you stop me or not, because I'm still waiting outside or in another place and I can reap the benefits. Or it's the whole thing was a mad long con. So he actually does survive all of this. As Predathos gets released, the moon explodes, or who knows what happens, right? Maybe Ludinus thinks the moon explodes. He's safe on Exandria somewhere. Doesn't matter, or at the Bloody Bridge, or who knows where the fuck he is, or the
Or
Bloody Bridge is done at this point, or who knows, right? Could be anywhere. Could be in a safe place. Could be waiting to see what happens. There's a lot of maybes there, but I really believe that this was a long con. It was a long game.
when you're alive for like 700 plus years, whatever the fuck it is, what becomes more important? Like at that point, mortality, who
Mm-hmm.
really cares? So like
There's
is his self-preservation really that important, or is it what he's trying to do more important? So he's saying like, yeah, we need to release him and let him devour the gods. That's what he's trying to
mm-hmm.
do, right? And at his dying breath, he says, "Finish what I started." What did he say? Finish what I started,
Finish what I
or
started. Yes,
along
yes.
those lines. If if not the exact words, that's what he was saying. Um, so like at that point, it's like no, it's not about me. It's about what I'm trying to do, right? It's my work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's this is where I have the issue with uh, if he worries about himself persevering, is like, oh, so he can go back and try again. I mean, I guess that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Because like, nope,
It's called
I need Predathos.
mhm. It's called a Xanatos Gambit. I was just trying to, I couldn't remember the word for it. It's a Xanatos Gambit is a plan for which all foreseeable outcomes benefit the creator, including ones that superficially appear to be failure. So there's an actual term for it, a
Oh,
Xanatos
wow.
Gambit, where and I really, really subscribe to this. I think it's really true. He already knew that what was going to happen, and so he makes it look like it's failure so that Bell's Hells is confident in what they're doing, and they rush in and do the exact thing that he wanted them to do.
Hmm.
And I think there was so many things he could have done if he was really concerned. And I mean, you can argue whatever you want about, well, he's just foolhardy, he's just a foolish old man, and he thinks that he was like, oh, I don't have to worry about these guys. They're such low level and inconsequential that I don't have to worry about failure. I don't think that they're strong enough to beat me anyway, so I'm just gonna do my thing and blah blah blah, and away we go. I don't think so. I think he's smart enough to realize all of that, and I think when you analyze the play, like the round by round way that he did things, turned away from them and focused on just breaking down those seals instead of going, I don't have to do that right now, because he didn't have to do that at the beginning with the cage.
Mm-mm.
He was just waiting. He's like, okay, whatever. And it's Imogen that triggers him to teleport to go into the next room
Yeah.
to start breaking down the seals of this hallowed cage. He didn't have to do that. He could have just waited them out. They wouldn't have been able to do it, or maybe they would have. He would have just gone in there and been like, all right, boom, 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 fireball, fireball, fireball. Okay, wish or meteor swarm
Meteor
or
storm.
eighth
Yeah.
level or seventh level and sixth level, and just dumping mad spells on them. But instead, he does this battlefield, the Ravenous Void one, which really didn't do that much. It just kept them out of his way. But he could have done that immediately by doing mad powerful spells. Some people online were saying like, oh, well, it's because Matt's done Meteor Swarm so many times with Vecna and with other big bosses at the end of campaigns. I'm like, that's not a good enough reason for me.
No, it's not. I mean, it's there for a reason because it's so
Yeah,
effective in what it's
right,
trying to do.
right.
So like, and Ludinus wouldn't do that if
We
he was
see
trying to take
Caleb.
them out.
Yeah, we see Caleb do time stop. Why didn't Ludinus choose time
Oh, that
stop? He
was
could have done.
badass. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
he could have done time stop as well and done a very similar thing and been like, a boom, 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 boom.
Was that the last one or
And
this one?
that was a couple ago.
We talked about that. Okay.
Yeah, 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 we did, we
Yeah.
did.
The
So I mean, like
best,
same
arguably, move.
same situation. Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he do other things? He's smart. He's been planning this for a very long time. I think this was all a con. I think it was all a game.
Again, he wants to make sure there's a vessel, like because her Imogen's mom is not exactly well, he was going to absorb her in
Yeah.
the
Yes, and
quintessence array.
he becomes the vessel because he's now exalted for 24 hours. So
Right.
he could fuck off for a little while, let Bell's Hells try it. Maybe they win, maybe they don't, and then come back later. A whole bunch of things didn't make sense. There's a big disconnect with how it all went down. And I've got, yeah, time and time again, I just really, really, really think this is a thing. But yeah, anyway, I'll do some more rollies if you want.
Yeah, but real quick before Rolly, can I do a second little
Yes.
yes and yes
Yes.
and this scratch that only a doctor could read. Jesus Christ. Yeah, like a partial absorption through the quintessence array or whatever
Mhm.
version he has. Bell's Hells have been using this thing, their version of it, on a periodic basis, and they're just like, okay, let the whole thing go through. What if only
Mhm.
half of it went through? Because like that's what happened with Imogen's
Yeah.
mom. It
Well,
didn't go through.
There's
They
a 1
stopped
minute,
it.
there's a 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour scale.
Benefit thing?
Yes. So
Is this
if
something
it's
I just missed?
they talked about it a few times.
Like four-sided
the
dive or what?
if it's a tiny little thing, it takes a minute.
Yeah.
Like if it's a little magic item, like a healing potion or something, and
So
then
this
you
I
gain
know.
like a
Yeah.
you gain like a temporary hit point or something like that. If
Yeah.
it's a bigger thing, it's 10 minutes to fully absorb it. If it's a person, it happens in 10
Takes an
minutes,
hour.
but then they're fully absorbed and it's permanent if it's 1 hour.
Oh, so like in 10 minutes you get this little boon.
Yep.
And then
You get
if
the
the
boon.
hour takes its course,
It's
then
permanent.
it becomes
permanent.
Okay,
And
okay,
there's
okay.
if I remember right, there's a limit to how many times one character can do it. So you can't just keep spending like every day 1 hour and absorbing things. It's like you can only do these things a certain amount of times.
Huh. Like
And
even
forever.
with all the
Forever.
time in the
Yes.
world,
Yes.
which I guess would
Yes.
put a little bit of a
Like
constraint on lewdness.
remember when they were getting tattoos in campaign 2 from Orly, the
Yeah.
bard. So he was giving them tattoos. There was a limit. You couldn't get only one character, one tattoo per character, one thing. So you had to choose which kind of, or maybe there was two was the limit. I forget. Maybe one.
I think it was one.
I think it was one stat and one resistance. I think that was what you could have. You could have a tattoo.
So you
that
could
did
get two tattoos, but that's
yes,
it.
that's it. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure about that.
That
Maybe it
rings
was
a
just,
bell.
but yeah, something like that. So if you look at it sort of the same way, it's sort of a mechanical way that Matt puts guardrails on things like, because otherwise, like a real cheesy party could just find an item like that and go like, okay, we're going to hold up for a week. And all of us are just going to absorb all of our magical items, and we're just going to become titans, and then away we go. So it's you got to put some guardrails on that.
They don't have a whole lot, you know. I mean, like a lot of their things are like boons that like a hero's feast would do. It's like, oh, and after until your next long rest, you know.
Well, like they all have some magical items. Like Orem could absorb his shield and seedling, and they could absorb a bunch of these things to boost themselves up, and then go out and find new items. There's always new items to find, so you just keep boosting. What I'm saying is, there's a reason why you can't just absorb everything.
It's like a drug, you know. Take some cocaine and go out there and try to fight people. Like, you know, like not a lot of these things have permanent things, do they? Because like you'll see, like, oh, it gives you 10 temporary hit points until your next long rest. It's like, yeah, well, that's not worth it.
Right, but those are the common items, and then the uncommon have better benefits and rare, and then the like they absorbed Ishta, right?
When do things become permanent?
I'm not sure. It's a good question. I think it depends on what it is.
Yeah, it's like an artifact or a person or an entity or whatever.
I think that's when it becomes permanent. When you do the full hour with it, then it becomes permanent. So some things can't. Some things don't need an hour. So it's probably like common rare is only 10 minutes, and then it's just that 24 hours or whatever it is, and then you get advantage on all your T20s or something like that, and then the big ones, the uncommon and the the uncommon, then so common and uncommon, and then rare, very rare, the artifacts,
legendary, epic, or I don't know which order it goes in.
Yeah, and then maybe it's a sliding scale for the DM that just is like, okay, well, if you're going to absorb like a goblin, well, it's not really much. That's a common thing. And if you're going to absorb like a level 20, Liliana Tumult, then it becomes a 1 hour thing, and that's permanent.
Right.
Sliding scale, DM's discretion. I don't know.
I wonder if they took it.
It's not a real thing. This is a total homebrew, right? So it's not. This isn't something you can find in the DM's guild or the DM's book or something.
Not a real thing. It's about to be.
It's all imagination, right?
What if they took it to Whitestone, got all this refined residuum? They're just like, wait, how much more do you need? Just like pour more in.
Yeah.
Like
maybe. The residuums thing is all about its ability to be used in proxy of the whatever the item may be of equivalent value, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would work.
I mean, yeah, it's like, what are the components you need? Oh, a legendary exalted human or humanoid. You're like, okay, how much residuum does that take? All of Whitestone. You're like, okay, here we go. Just pour it in. As long as you can get in there in an hour. That was a long rolly. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do another one. 11.
Another 7.
7-11. I just want to say I want to make a comment about poor role playing by Sam.
Okay. We know you're listening, Sam.
A little tongue in cheek there. No, like remember
that was out of your cheek. Easily.
Sure. Tongue out of cheek. Breas communes with Asmodeus, right? He has that big long sort of they didn't retcon it. They went go back in time a little bit, and he went
Oh,
off
right.
and
Because he's like, oh, when they were doing that, I was back here.
I would
Yeah.
be doing this, and then it becomes like, okay, we got to timey-wimey, go back a little and redo some stuff, and that's cool. I like how that's handled. I like
Do
the
you
way
think that was pre-planned with Matthew and Sam?
no, no,
Okay.
no, I do not.
'Cause the
And
second time through, I was like, but
I think Matt was I think Sam had mentioned that he might at some point try and commune with him, and I think Matt was ready for it.
Right.
I don't think it was planned for this time, but I think
either one of
so
the
if
two
you-
gods, right? Because he had the
Yes.
two that he was, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Matt was like, okay, you're gonna commune, okay, and that's when he gets everyone to leave the table, which I thought was another ballsy move. I love that.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really really good when they do that. It's great. I mean, you can always go back and just watch it if you want to, but you don't have to. I just mean like so he does that, and Asmodeus says, stop lewdness, don't free Predathos, and you'll get your family. And then later on, Sam doesn't really do anything to stop lewdness or not freeing Predathos. He just sort of was like, okay, break the seals and away we go. Let's go and check this thing out and whatever. So I was like, that's not what Breas should be doing. Like, I get it. You're all caught up in it and you want to go check it out, but that's your patron or your god or whatever you want to call him just told you don't do that. And that's what you did.
See,
I'm curious why. What do you think? Why?
I was watching Sam because we know what's up, but nobody else at the table knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And you might notice that Sam was a little bit less jokey. He was a little bit less vocal. He was just kind of like sitting in the back, like, when is it going to happen? Because, Sam himself gave a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, but he was like, I don't know if I can, I don't know what it's going to take to betray my friends. He said something.
Okay, right.
But he stopped
yes.
once, but then he was like, no, I don't know how I will have the strength to betray them or whatever he said. Right. So like the character Breas was like, yeah, I like these people, and then he was like talking to the god. It was like, yeah, I will betray them. I just don't know if I have the strength to do it. So I think that Sam and his character, vis-a-vis his character, he was like, is now the time? No. Is now the time? No. Like, it's a big moment.
Yeah.
So like Sam
sure.
as the actor is like, if I'm going to do this, it's going to fuck everything up right now.
Right.
So, I was watching him because he was just like, just quiet Sam, which is not normal for the actor, for the
That's
guy
right.
Sam.
That's right. That's a good take on it. I like that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that he's like, yeah, maybe. So maybe it's a mad mortal dilemma. And as you were talking there, I was thinking too. I'm like, yeah, it's also Asmodeus is the god of lies, the prince of lies.
Yeah. I mean, you called it ages ago. I got a point here. You called it ages ago that of course he's going to betray.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious.
Yes. I think, but I also wonder if there's not a lot of lying going on there by Sam as well, towards Asmodeus, towards Bell's Hells, towards himself.
The fifth wall.
There might be a bunch of stuff going on there we don't know because we know Sam plays long games. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
cross campaign games.
Yeah, fucking right, man. He took an NPC from beginning of campaign 2 and turned it into a major player at the end of campaign 3. Yeah. That's a fun long game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just still waiting for his time, and the way that this episode ended, I mean that's fuck. I think that might be another rolly.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh shit!
I'm changing pages.
All right, rollies. 11. Come on, man.
I got a 5.
All right, I'll take it. All right,
a lot of 7s and 11s this round. What do we got here?
Said that. Fuck. Should I just say the thing I was just gonna say anyway?
Right.
Okay, no, I'm gonna go to the question then. Because after I finished watching the episode, I sent you a message saying I have question. I meant to say I am question.
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't make that much sense to me what the hell was going on. Because I felt like there was a little bit of Laura instead of Imogen playing at the end of the game there. And Ashley, bless your heart, not a great improviser, right? She's like,
No, we know.
I know what I want to say, but I'm going to wait for you. It's like, yeah, nobody's buying that. Like, you're waiting for her to say something so you can also do the same thing. You know, hey, maybe I'm just being cynical. But the fact that she's just like, yeah, I'll do this, and now can I try to resist? It's like, dude, you fucking made the contact. Like everyone's like, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. And like now she's like, oh, and then she becomes this thing, and then they end the episode. I think this is what. Okay, so that's kind of a two-part thing. I think that's kind of what Breas is waiting for. Was like, wait, release or not release? Because he knows now he has a decision to make, and maybe at the top of the next episode, he's going to be like, God, I need you now, and fuck him up.
Right, and that okay. That's an interesting. I like that. That's a good take on it. Maybe
because he's seeing this right now, and he's like, "Yo, he said don't let this happen." So,
interesting.
Divine intervention by the God's choice come in and help me fuck him up, and then Brace and them are gonna have a fight. But then Imogen's gonna be so fucking powerful because she's doing this, and she's becoming perhaps a god. We don't know.
A god eater, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's the what do they call them? The
Right, Lauren.
No, like the one that the fucking
Exalted.
yeah, but
The chosen.
Shit. Yeah, the chosen one.
Neo.
Every word you say, I get farther and farther away from what I say. They're all the same line. It was almost there. The vessel.
The vessel. Wow.
The vessel. And like apparently she just became the vessel, and she's like, wait, can I resist now? It's like I don't know.
No,
like maybe you can't. In which case Breas should respond. And then everyone else is like, oh shit. And then Imogen's the big bad, and we got 2 more episodes before the end of the campaign.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I think there's a couple episodes left, and that's it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, what else can happen? Ludinus is dead. The other 2 parties did what they did. Yeah, and like the moon is now orbiting as it should be, you know. It's I mean, it's there and in the face of Predathos. What else are you gonna do?
This is this end game stuff. Like, it's interesting because I'll just end that with, there was talk early on in the Ludinus battle where they wanted to save stuff because Fern or Ashley brought it up a couple of times. She's like, no, I don't want to do that yet because we need to save stuff for if we're going to fight Predathos. We got to save, not that you gotta have stuff left over, because I was sort of anticipating this wasn't even going to be a battle, that they don't have anything left. There's no, like, I don't think there's anything left at all.
Imogen's got a ton now.
Well, yeah, but she's not a factor anymore. I think that we'll see. We'll see what happens.
They could have just fucked everything up and have TPK and campaign 4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd really appreciate that. I'll be completely honest with you.
So would I.
I don't want to see it, but I would fucking love it.
It hasn't happened before, and it would really just open this door to a post-apocalyptic kind of situation. Gods don't exist. It's like, oh, we used to believe in these things, but there's no proof of them anymore.
Yeah.
That whole plane of existence would be just like, if you go there, it's empty. And be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Yep. All these old school people talking about gods. There's nobody here.
Yeah.
You know? Just a bunch of, like, you know, back in the day when we believed that, I don't know, socks ate your soul if you didn't wash them or whatever.
Yeah, something like, right. Sure. I like that. I like that idea. It would be kind of fun to see if it actually happened. I don't know if, man, the cynic in me always comes back to the marketing strategies of a giant company. And they're like, we can't do that. It has to be happy endings from here on out because they're too big now. They have too many people. But I don't know. I think you gotta break somewhere. I think you gotta get edgy. You gotta do this thing where you're like, no, we're actually gonna kill some players and make it permanent, and the world's gonna really change. And campaign 4 will be fun. We'll see. We'll see. I wonder if the wildfires are gonna change Matt's perspective on things.
I mean, they must be worried about I don't know where they live, but they probably moved after they got so much damn money with all the work they're getting these days. I was thinking that when Orm chimed in, he's like, what if we just bring the walls down and just, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
the video gamer in me, I was like, yeah, that's the bad
Yeah.
ending. That's the
Yeah, that's the
bad
bad
ending.
ending, which is
Like
awesome.
you crumble this down and be like, all right, let's forget about
Hmm.
it for about 150 years, and
Hmm.
then somebody else finds it, and the ruinous flares continue, and
Or
somebody else is
yeah.
gonna show up and like, be like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, and get that indoctrination that seems to happen if you're ruinous born, and
Maybe.
get that connection.
Maybe.
Like that's exactly what that
Hmm.
would be, But that'd be a strange way to end campaign 3.
It
And
would.
piggybacking on that, I think that Matthew would be like, "No, dude, we can't end it like that. I'm done with Exandria. I want to start
Mm.
something new and completely different,
It,
parallel
it
universe at
it
least."
feels a little bit like that. It feels a little bit like that. Like he's like it's run its course and he wants something new. I don't know. I
It's been
do
a lot
not
of
know.
destruction. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
like Calamity and what was the second one?
Downfall.
Downfall. Yeah, so
Hmm.
much destruction. It's like, dude, I mean, you can go ahead and destroy Exandria, but the gods will be there to create something new.
Yeah. Yep.
Something and
I agree.
start from scratch and try to keep the evil out. Like that's the good ending. And
Hmm.
then leave that alone, write a book about it, let people play that, and then start campaign 4 in
Hmm.
Daggerheart.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that. I don't want to see Daggerheart hasn't had enough positive. The
There,
Daggerheart is really good for experienced players. It's not as good for new players as D&D 5e is.
there's a reason
Fifth,
5e is the
yeah,
one because it's
yeah.
been tried and true over
It's a little,
decades.
which is why Daggerheart's meeting with mixed success because new people are. I've read a lot of reports about people, new players, trying to play it, and they're like not interested. It's too confusing. The initiative, the idea that there is no initiative is a giant one. It rewards bold players and punishes meek players.
Hmm.
Players that don't want to get in, players that are just like shy and want to sit back and watch things happen, they don't get as much spotlight and they don't get as much fun out of it, and so it becomes a very confusing thing if you're not an experienced gamer. But that's
Frankly,
what I've heard. I haven't played it, so I don't know.
I mean,
But that's what I've heard.
all I know is 5e, just from Critical Role.
Hmm.
Um, and what I've seen so far of Daggerheart was just a bit of that live show in
Yep.
London. Was that London?
No, it was in the States. It was in
Oh, it was in the States.
might have been Minnesota or Indianapolis or something like that. Might have been a Gen Con.
Was
I'm
it
not
like a
sure.
Christmas thing? I don't remember. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was. I think it was Gen Con in
I just remember
Indianapolis. I'm not totally sure.
I remember like a couple dice rolls and or something, and it wasn't something completely like immediately familiar to me. So I was just kind of
Hmm.
like, huh, I don't know what this is,
Yeah, I'm
and I just
rolling with
kind of
fear. I'm rolling with what is it? Fear and the other one. Fear. If
right.
you roll with fear, the DM gets a point, and if you roll with heart, with lust, with love, with fear, and what's the other one? I don't know what it is.
I really
See,
don't
that's how
know.
much I really don't know about the game. It's the mechanics of it are not super intuitive to me, so I don't really understand it.
Yeah, it
But
didn't make much sense to me either. Kind of reminds me back in the day where it's like when a simple game like War that makes
yeah,
sense, and then
yeah,
there was like Slapjack. And
yes.
I remember at one point when I was like, I don't know, 6 years old, I was like, I can make my own game. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, so I called it Slam King. And I'm like, wait, the Slapjack. And it's like, if a king comes out,
Both kings, yeah,
you're supposed to
yeah.
throw it in the couch or something. It's like,
Mm,
that sucks. Let's try something
yeah.
else.
Let's go with games that people have made. Yeah, but Spoons was our favorite game of all time. Spoons is the game.
Is that the one where somebody wins money, but you touch your nose or something when it's?
No, there's this the Spoons is where there's 6 players and there's only 5 spoons.
Mm.
And then when you finally collect, it's a rapid fire game. And you finally collect 4 of a kind. You reach out and you grab a spoon, and the last one, there's no spoon for them, so they're out. And then you take one spoon out and you keep playing until there's a winner.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Spoons gets violent.
yeah.
You're
I've
grabbing
seen a
grabbing for
couple
spoons.
iterations of it.
Yeah. So did you do another rollie or
Yeah, we're coming up on closing time here, so let's
okay,
go
good.
ahead and
Let's do another
throw it out
rollie.
there. So like I don't
Hmm.
did we really address. I don't want to cross out the question because I don't think we really addressed that one. 19. Fuck.
15. Man, I finally rolled good, and you still beat me. Damn it.
Well, then I'm gonna go ahead and follow up with the question. What the fuck is Imogen doing?
That's a very good question.
We talked about it briefly, but not really specifically. What's she doing? Like, is it Laura being curious? Is she being Travis over here and pushing the red button? Or is she indoctrinated by this, connection that she has? Because they did say in this episode that feeling you get is like the most warmth, familiar, nostalgic, beautiful feeling. They did mention that kind of a thing. And she's sitting there just like, oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think it's a little bit of all of that. I think it's a little bit of like destiny. She's like, I'm supposed to do this, so I will do it.
According to Protathos.
I think it's a little bit of Laura being Laura. I think it's a little bit of, oh, okay, well, Matt's putting this in front of us, so then we should do it. It's like, well, why wouldn't we? It'd be very unsatisfying to not do the thing that they want us to do and then just walk away from it and be like, well, what if it's regret, right? You have regrets going forward, and I think this is where I'm going to yes end on this because I think
this is why you play. Sorry, this is why you play Mass Effect twice. You do the Paragon once, and then you do Renegade the second time, right?
Exactly.
We're not going to see a second playthrough of this campaign, so she's just like, let me see what happens.
Let me see what happens, right? And I think it's a little bit of a curse of this table. In campaign 1, they really didn't know what the fuck they were doing as D&D players, and that was so charming to watch. And Matt could take advantage of that in a really good way. It was super annoying, but Matt really took advantage of that by throwing things at them they'd never seen before, didn't know how to deal with. And they all got the D&D bug, and Liam's got a home game with his kids, and you see it in campaign 2 where Liam's like, I know what those are. I know what that is. And Liam's the kind of player where he's like, I'm just playing my character and I'm going to be dumb about it, but I do know what those are because he's a DM. Then they all start having their own home games. Now in campaign 3, they all know what numbers are and what the numbers mean and what the numbers are to beat and where they have to get and what the dice rolls really mean. They're still confusing some spells up and things like that, but that's fine. That's not the more important issue. Is that they are turning into very crunchy combat players. And this is a bit of a curse for them because they're able to go, like, my whole second page here is all combat stuff, and it's all just metagaming. And it's not metagaming, but it's metagaming adjacent because what they're doing,
experience and knowledge
is right. They're like, oh, the number is 19, so I have to get that. So if he's going to shield, then it's going to be 24,
right?
Which means I'm going to have to do that. That means if I do use this spell, it's not going to work. So I need to go this and do that. And it's playing chess. I get it. It's you're planning moves ahead, and that's very, very good. That's a good way to play the game. But it also means that they're in this kind of a battle because it's so quote unquote important. This is life. This is a very consequential battle. They're like, nah, I'm not leaving anything for chance here. Not making any stupid moves. We're not going to try anything. Just going to do
no
cumulative.
No, I was going for culmination. Culminative.
I think that it's like why Imogen does it is the same reason why they do a lot of the things, or why they did a lot of the things they did in this. It's like, we know this, and then Matt's giving them a lot of information as well. Like I've got a timestamp, 2 hours, 59 minutes, 10 seconds. Matt says usually 3 for legendary resistances by bosses. And it's like he's just giving them that now. It's and that was something he would never do before.
Yeah.
Where he would never say, you don't know, he might, maybe. And they're like, another one, another legendary. Oh God, another one. But this one they're counting on it. Like now in this battle, they're like, okay, yeah, do it now. Okay, we'll just throw everything at him, so he wastes all of those. And then they're like, oh, that's 3. We know he doesn't have any more. And then sure enough, Matt's like, yeah, he doesn't have any more, so he can't resist that final Lance. What is the lance that Imogen does? Mind lance, splinter,
Uh,
mind splinter, mind
no.
whatever it is.
Oh,
So that's the one that
something Lance. Yeah.
yeah, it's psychic lance, I think is what it is.
There it is.
And then
Psychic
and
Lance. Yeah.
then and then image Orem charges in and gets the how do you want to do this because he's incapacitated and he's just going for a healing potion. Again, I'm going back to I think it was all staged. I think it was all staged because Ludinus knew this was going to happen, or
Oh,
he
you mean
thought
staged by Ludinus?
yes,
Okay, let's be
yes.
clear on this. Not staged by Critical Role,
No,
staged
no,
by
no, no, no.
Ludinus
Staged by
in the game.
Matt, staged by Ludinus against the players, against the PCs.
Right. It makes sense when you smell this sulfur and this boiling thing and it's just gone. But then he also
Yeah.
said at the same time, which I thought was curious, and you also don't see Ira. He didn't have to say that, but he did.
Yeah, he did.
Are those related, do you think?
I think there's something going on for sure.
It's
Yeah.
like maybe Ira's like, and then just like
Yeah.
let's go
Yeah.
have fun with this body. Who knows what that Fey being is doing?
It's nothing because it doesn't matter. It's not his real body. It's not his body anymore. It's
Is it a
the body,
simulacrum?
but it's. I don't think it's a simulacrum. I think it's
I
the
don't
real
think so
one. But
either.
I think he made a clone,
Yeah.
and that we know he did because he doesn't. Where's the bag of holding? Where's all of his stuff? Where's the quintessence array that he made? It's not there. Which really actually now that I'm thinking about it, that's another thing that I wrote down here is like knowing and they're sharing the tactics of targeting the back of the neck so that it breaks that whatever that thing is where they thought that would be a real thing that was going it's
That was
going back
lucky
to
in the beginning.
yeah
Somebody rolled really well. In fact, maybe a nat 20
it's
to
something
hit
it was
that, and he
something
was
very
like,
high.
"Oh," and then
Yep.
also because you hit this round or whatever the fuck it was,
Yeah,
you
you
also
see
do
there's
like
a
an
little
extra 68 or 86 or
yeah
whatever the fuck
necrotic
it was.
damage of necrotic damage and then they're all like what oh my god that's so much okay let's just keep doing that and that was
At
this was
26 AC or 25.
yeah something like that
Yeah.
high very high and
And
it's like
also
okay but
it also tells you that necrotic damage is something that he's not resistant to,
mhm,
which
mhm.
I mean, unfortunately not a lot of people have that
Yeah.
damage type, but
Right. It's a scaling thing in fifth edition, right? It's a mechanic of 5e where the big bosses have to have 10 times the amount of hit points that a PC could ever have. Because like Ludinus ends up having like 600 hit points, which is totally impossible for level 20. It's totally impossible. The math doesn't work to get that high. But it's a scaling thing, like you have to do it
right.
against level 20 or lower or whatever players. You have to.
This is
So
something that came up in earlier episodes between you and I. Like the quintessence array is a reason or a justification for these level 16 characters to get some extra things
right.
to face somebody in the
Yes.
level 20 realm.
Yes.
But
Yes.
then also on Ludinus's grounds, you get to level 20, that's about it. I
Yeah.
mean, look
Yeah.
at Mighty Nine, look at Vox Machina. They got to level 20 within a lifetime.
Yes.
He's lived several lifetimes.
Many.
But you can't
a
get
dozen
higher than level
lifetimes.
20, so there's got to be some way you can
Right.
get higher. And yeah,
Right, and that's how it's just a numbers thing that DMs do. It's like this is the mechanic of the game. You have to separate the don't. It's not real, right? It's a game, so you have to sort of put it. Otherwise, a level 5 adventuring party the first time into Barovia can take down Strahd. It's impossible to take down the Count Strahd in his own realm. But if you didn't do those things, then yeah, they could do it very easily. But you have to buff the big boss. You have to. You have to make sure that he's got ways out. He's got legendary resistances. He's got legendary actions. He's got way more hit points than all of you combined.
you have to
He has to.
justify it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be a balanced game, and the only way to do that is to make things like a big boss be unobtainable. Like you can never get to the level of a big boss because it doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a meta aspect of this.
Yeah. I mean, when they fought Thordak, Vox Machina in the campaign, not on the animated series, Raishan came in at a certain point, and then an airship came in at a different point.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like, yeah, we're kind of evening the playing field. This
Right.
is this giant.
Right.
Like this is
Yeah.
the mini, like this big, like from the top of my screen to the bottom. And
Oh, yeah, I remember it
the other
well.
minis are that big. It's
Yeah.
like it's
Yep.
crazy that
Yep.
this thing is the mini.
Yes.
It's just a
Yeah.
figurine of a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how is it possible that these little things are going to do this? It was like, well, we got help. So yeah, you got to even the playing field somehow.
Right.
And with lewdness,
and the thing is, they did, right? Like in the game, they really did take down Thordak. In the animated series, they did as well. It was fucking amazingly well done. Like that scene with Vax flying up to the moon and smashing through the heart. Like, that shit's amazing. But like, I mean, that's not the way it went down in the campaign. But they still did it, and Mighty Nine still took down the Nonagon. Like they took down an entire Cognosa ward of Aor. So it's like, yeah, these things. They are possible in this game that they play, but the DM has to make it a balance.
Yep.
Like, I mean, many of my games ended in TPKs, not just one or two, many. I have stories about TPKs that are fucking horrific, but it's just a game. It's like, okay, well, this is the way it is, and you just carry on and you move on from there.
Yeah, it's rough when you get that relationship with those characters, though. But you can
Mhm.
always bring one back for the next campaign or something.
3.5, my 3.5 D&D 3.5 DM, because D&D 3.5, if anybody out there has ever played 3.5, it is the nerfed of all. It's not nerfed, that's the wrong word. OP. It is the cheesiest OP edition ever made. If you could think of it, well, Pathfinder was sort of famous for also that, but 3.5 opened the doors for, they just kept coming out with book after book after book after book after book, and all of the books just kept making the characters more and more and more powerful and cooler and cooler and cooler. And so it became this whole thing of the DM throwing the kitchen sink at you because
like
they
people
had
have these ideas. You're like, oh, what if I had this? What if I had this? And everybody's just like, oh, this awesome pool of creativity.
It's where the deck of many things came from. It's where the portable hole comes from. It's where the Vorpal sword comes from. It's where all these legendary items, they all come out of 3.5.
It's the danger of letting adults become kids again.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, but you can't do that because I could do this. And be like, oh, that's a cool thing, but you can't,
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just write rules around that. Like, calm
it's just
down.
a playground.
Let's get
it's
fourth
just playground
edition.
rules,
Jesus.
man. Playground rules. Yeah.
No, you can't do that because I'm made of lava. Be like, oh, that's awesome.
The one interesting thing, I'm just going to say this because I've got this written down at the very end.
I'm going to throw something on the back of here too.
They never broke that orb that was given to them by the Kryn dynasty. Queen Leia? What was her name? Amadeus? Nope. What was it? Lily Ly something.
Oh,
the Kryn.
boy.
The queen of the Kryn.
The light
Kryn
queen?
dynasty.
No, the bright queen?
The bright queen. Yes, the bright queen, whatever her name is.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Anyway, she gave them an orb that would essentially be like a short rest in immediately, and they didn't do it. It really surprised me.
No, they did it.
Oh, they did do it.
They do it eventually. Yeah.
Yes, they did right at the end after the how do you want to do this? They did get the short rest. They did get all things, and they rolled hit dice. I remember now. You're right. They did. I even wrote it down, but that's not what I read. And then they're in then they go into the core, and then I don't know what's gonna happen.
What I like what Matthew decided when they were like, okay, so when you because they were saying this like, hey, should we do the sphere? What Matthew decided, because Laura said, could we do this before the sphere so that we could maybe attune to this? And Matthew was like, pertaining to a conversation he had with Ashton, was like, no, because like this thing just is a moment and you got to spend time with something to attune. So no, you don't get that benefit.
Yes.
That's the one thing that makes sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I thought that was a great ruling.
Yeah.
He could have gone the other way. He could have been like, you know what? Yeah. And you just, for some reason, you feel so in tune with this thing that, you can do it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to get all the benefits of a short rest. Yeah. But I really liked his decision on that.
So I liked it as well. It made way more sense. I'm like, it doesn't work. It shouldn't work that way. It makes sense not to.
Yeah.
Good ruling.
It's like time, you know. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, babe, you want to go on our 15th date?" It's like we haven't had our third. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It just can't happen.
That's right.
Right?
Well, listen, man, that's all I got.
All
I
right.
literally I'm like, Imogen begins to transform, be possessed, the end.
Let me ask one more thing here without a rollie or whatever.
Go.
After Ludes got stunned, Matthew threw in a little
Mm-hmm.
detail, just a little detail there, that fluid started pouring out of his ears.
Mm.
And I was like, wait, is that because of this little thing that's on his back? And it's like it's constantly pumping him through with a bunch of shit, like Odahan Thule. She had like a backpack, right?
A jetpack
that
on her
just
back,
like
yeah.
fucking constantly refueled her with this power and
Yes.
shit like that.
Yes.
So like at this point when he was stunned, is that the same kind of a thing where it's like, oh, shit's coming out of his ears now because he's not using it?
Right. I think it was a nod to the fact that he had absorbed Liliana's exalted status, and it was a necrotic thing that was that was coming out. That's my take on that. Is it because that was inherently an evil thing to do, that there was punishment for that of some kind? There was a repercussion to get that exalted status. And that's where all of that came from. But it's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. I don't know what that means. Definitely, you're right. It definitely means something.
I guess I was kind of tainted, I suppose. Maybe there's a better word for it, with the fact that Odahan Thule had something that juiced her up when she needed it. And that's what I thought was happening. It's like he had this continuous juicing up of something.
I don't think it was exactly that, but it maybe could have been.
Because like Odahan did not have a quintessence array. No, she had a backpack with things that injected her with shit.
Dunamancy juice
Right.
inside of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I don't know what the hell was seeping out of his ears, like molasses.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I wonder if it's like a combination of what he did to open up the Malleus key. When he turned it on, he fucked up his hand. There could be like a bunch of stuff. Matt's, was like, well, this happened, so this happens, so then you get this, and now it's going to be like that.
And he just said it, and nobody gave a shit. And I was like,
not really, no.
Like both times I listened to it, I was like, dude.
I think they were really just more focused on the fact that it was psychic damage. So they're like, oh, psychic damage, that's what it does. It just makes your brains turn into jelly. So they didn't really care about it.
And it was after stun, and I guess that's what I stuck to. It's like he's stunned, and now he's overflowing because he's stunned.
Right. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So like if you eat too much food, you get fat. If you use all that energy, you don't get fat. That's what I saw it as.
I do not know.
Huh. Well, something to think about. I guess.
Hey man,
let's end it, dude.
Let's wrap this up.
It's already 1:07:40 at this point. It's my turn now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Follow Ben Greenspoon at Ben Greenspoon on all socials. Follow me at drummatucka, drumma with an A, tucka with an A, on my socials. What you up to over there? Oh shit! I rolled this and it rolled a 1. Best way to get in touch with us is down here in the comments. That's the best way to get in touch. Comments, concerns, giving us shit, giving us praises, and something that I never thought that I was really going to put in there is like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. It does actually help out more than you think. If you run a YouTube channel, you might understand how that works. It's word of mouth to the point where it becomes actually a human who actually looks into your shit. And at that point, it turns into recommendations, which turns into possibly some wider realm of audience possibilities and stuff like that. So if you haven't thought about it yet, just click that like button, if nothing else, and then also the subscribe if you really like the channel. So after this new information came up, I should probably say that because it's good for us.
It is.
Geez, am I forgetting anything else?
But just if I can add to that, we're not doing it for those reasons. We're doing this for a conversation, first and foremost, and always. It's about having this conversation right here.
Absolutely.
But the other stuff is just neat bonus stuff. So cool.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to do something like this, as a supplementary income, perhaps. But
sure.
Really, just having the conversation, which we used to have just on our phones. Now it's on the internet.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And now that you live in a different country, it's really nice to have this thing that keeps us.
Yeah, we get it
linked.
every couple of weeks. Absolutely, yeah.
Every week, every night, when nothing goes wrong.
Yeah,
It's tough. Let's see, man. I don't have any shows to promote at the moment. We just played an awesome show on New Year's. Yeah, so nothing else. Hey, we got a show this week.
Oh, I hope so. We don't know yet.
We're not
Tomorrow.
sure. Yeah,
Tomorrow's
it's Los
Wednesday.
Angeles.
We'll probably find out tomorrow. They usually announce this stuff on Wednesdays, so
No rush.
who knows?
They're,
No
they're
rush.
They're
Yep.
hurting over there.
Yeah, it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks, it might be a month. Who knows? Let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, then we'll
All
leave
right,
it
buddy.
at that.
Hey.
If nothing else, then don't forget to love each other. And is it finally this or maybe next or whatever Friday
Whatever
when
Friday.
things get out of the fire and into the recovery? I don't know.
Into
All
the
right.
out of the fire into the frying pan.
There we go. I'm not sure what the frying pan is in this
Critical role.
metaphor.
Critical
Okay.
role is the frying
Critical
pan.
role. You're the best frying pan we've come across.
Mm. Peace, y'all.
Peace, everybody. Take care of yourselves. If you're in Los Angeles, really take care. All right, peace.
Drink lots
everybody.
of water.
Cheers.
Bye.